All right, this is another quick question review with Mosjaro, of course, in my Mosjaro channel. Um, this is a quick one for those persons that are writing UBTH nursing examination. The examination is around the corner. So I just want to bring out some tidbits. So I've uploaded some videos before for those persons that are writing UBTH nursing exam. So this is your first time of watching this video. Do well to scroll down, of course, subscribe, and you can see other videos on my channel that you can get to watch to prepare your mind towards the examination. Now, these might not be the exact questions that you see in your examination, but these are likely questions that you should consider while preparing for the exam. Quickly, I will not want to waste much time. Let's do our analysis. And of course, you know how Mozart used to do it. Very simple and very precise, straight to the point. Now, I want to look at this question. Question one, I have two questions here that I want to trash out. I might get to bring out other questions, but quickly, let's bring out this question. This question is coming from chemistry, but it's more of like, if you want to look at it very well, it's more of like both chemistry and biology. But quickly, let's look at it. They said, which of the following would give a positive reaction to Felling's test? First off, Felling's test is used to test for what? For sugars, not just sugars. Felling's test is one of the tests that can be used to test for sugars. We have Felling's test. We have an other test. We have Benedict test or Benedict solution that you can use to test for what? For sugars. Now, we want to analyze. Remember, our mainstay is not about the answer straightforward. We want to look at other options, of course, as regards the question. Now, quickly, let's analyze. Let's check it out. They said, which of the following would give a positive reaction to Felling's test? They said A, reducing sugar. They said B, not reducing sugar. They said C, starch. And of course D, they said cellulose. Now, quickly, let's analyze each of the options. First of all, what are reducing sugars? Now, you have to pay attention that all monosaccharides, and of course, and disaccharides are what? Are reducing sugars. But there's just one exception. And what exception is that? That exception is what? Is sucrose. Now, what do we mean by that? Now, please pay attention that sucrose is a disaccharide. Maltose is also a disaccharide. Then we have what? We have lactose is another disaccharide. Now, so we have sucrose, maltose, lactose. All of them are disaccharide. Now, let me bring out something for you now. Then we have glucose, pardon me. Now we have glucose, we have fructose, and of course we have what? We have galactose. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as you're watching it, these are common monosaccharides. Please, these are not the only monosaccharides that we have, but these are the common monosaccharides. Now, glucose, fructose, galactose are monosaccharide. Sucrose, maltose, lactose are disaccharide. Now, very fast. We said all monosaccharides and disaccharides are reducing sugar except one. Who is that? Sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. Now, of course, sucrose is made of glucose and fructose. Now, while maltose is made of two glucose molecules, you must put that at the back of your mind. But lactose, which is the sugar found in milk, on that point you must know, is made of glucose and of course and galactose. Now, my point here is that all these sugars you are seeing now, all of them are sugars. All of them are reducing sugars except what? Sucrose. So sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. Now that's where the answer is coming out from. Now, Felling's solution is actually used to test for what? Used to test for reducing sugars. You get it now. Felling's solution is to test for what? Reducing sugars. Now, if I use Felling's solution to test for reducing sugars, normally Felling's reagent is blue. So if I use it to test for reducing sugar, the color will actually change from blue to what? To brick red, due to the conversion of what? Of copper 2 plus to what? To copper 1. So this guy is blue, while this other one is what? Is red. Now, quickly, but I can actually use Felling's solution to test for sucrose. But for me to do that, the solution have to be what? Acidified. Now, first off, from what we are pointed out now, you have known what are reducing sugars and what are non-reducing sugars, and what can be easily used to test for what? Reducing sugars. And I can also use Felix test for sucrose, though it's a non-reducing sugar. But I must first of all what? Acidify the solution with what? With dilute ACl. Why? If I do that, what will not happen? If I acidify with dilute ACl, it will not hydrolyze the sucrose. So if sucrose, let me write it here, is hydrolyzed with dilute what? With dilute HCl, pardon me, it will give me the two molecules that form the two monosaccharides that form the sucrose, which is what? Glucose and what? And fructose. So from this instance now, of course, I can now use any solution to test for it. Now, when it comes to starch, once you to test for starch, of course, starch is a polysaccharide, just like cellulose is also a what? A polysaccharide. Now, starch can be tested for through the use of what? Of iodine. So iodine is used to test for what now? To test for starch. But remember, it's not just saline solution that can be used to test for sugars. Benedict solution can also be used to test for what? For sugars. Now talking about tests, I think I have to say this very quickly. If you are preparing for the exam, you have to be very careful on how to test for basic things. For instance, now to test for proteins, you use Burette test, Millions test, xanthoproteic test where HCl is used, and of course you have to look at the coloration of these. So all these are important qualitative analysis that you must know. Then of course you must pay attention to what? To flame test used to test for metallic ions. For instance, now they will ask you in the exam, they can say what a metal give a brick um brick red coloration to flame test. That is what is calcium. Which one gives a golden yellow? That is what? That is sodium. Now quickly, without wasting much time, let's look at this other question. It said the compound used in fire extinguisher is dash. Now, there's a gas that is commonly used as fire extinguisher. Obviously, the answer there is what? Is D. Carbon dioxide is commonly used as fire extinguisher. But the question you should be asking yourself is that why is carbon dioxide commonly used as fire extinguisher? The one reason is that it does not support combustion. Number two reason is that it is quite heavier than air. Then number three, it cuts off what? Oxygen supply. So when it cuts off oxygen supply, then of course the fire gets to what? Slow down its burning ability. Now, I gave you three reasons why carbon dioxide is used as fire extinguisher. Number one is that it is heavier than air. Number two is that it does not support combustion. And number three, it cuts off what? Oxygen supply. Now, talking about carbon dioxide, they can get to ask you, for instance, they say, what is the shape of carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is what? Is linear in what? In shape. Carbon dioxide is linear in shape, and of course, it has a bond angle of what? Of 180 degree. Now look at this carbon 2 oxide that is here. It's poisonous. It is the gas that comes out of the exhaust of what? Of motor vehicles. Now this is sulfur 4 oxide, and of course this sulfur 4 oxide is very important that you know it when it comes to the contact process. Now talking about ammonia. Good. Ammonia is what? Is an alkaline gas. Of course it has a urine smell, and is manufactured through the what? Through the ABA what? Through the ABA process. Now these are little things I just want to bring your mind to, and of course I'm praying for the exam. Please do well to go through some of my videos that are made on stoichiometry, that are made on gas laws and Gay-Lussac's law, Graham's law of diffusion. Make sure you go through those videos so that you can get yourself what? Abreast with the exam. But remember that the UBTH examination is quite a very competitive one, so you have to be very careful, and of course you have to be in a right frame of mind to look at some things. Now let me just give a quick info for those persons. Of course, biology aspects, please do well to concentrate on the system, talking about the digestive system, talking about the respiratory system, the excretory system, but of course the endocrine system and the nervous system. Combination with your what? With your what's it called? Your classification and cell. Now, if you have the effective compendium in biology, maybe I've come to your center or met one or two times. Try and go through those questions in the effective compendium. Of course, try and go through all the points I've analyzed on my YouTube channel. In order to just get yourself involved with some important points. So I wish you all the best in your examination, and then I see you in UBTH. Of course, do well to subscribe, and of course, do well to share to your friends that are writing the exam, and of course, those persons that are preparing for any examination at all, talking about JAM, talking about WIC, talking about SSC. Of course, share the good news. So Mosjaro is out of here. Peace.